Let me be your healer.
I'm pregnant with possibility. I've had 3 interviews this week and I have a couple scheduled for next week. And the job search is going really well and it's very exciting. But exciting and agitation manifest themselves the same way in the body. So it's a lot of feeling, which I think is why I tend to put off the job search. But thinking about change has kind of invigorated me in other areas of my life. Like 10 years ago when we moved to China, I was gonna write a novel and I opened up that draft a couple times, but it's not ready. But it has kind of, this job search has kind of kick-started me into also opening that box of worms back up again, which is also exciting. I've talked to 3 different schools so far, and none of them is the dream job, but none of them is a bad job, which is, again, a good position to be in. Although I struggle with decisions because when I talk to a person, I just like picture myself in this life that they represent, and I'm like, that's it, I can do that life, I can live that life. And then I talk to the next person, I'm like, I could live that life. And then the next person, I could live that life. And I mean, I guess that's the fear of missing out. That's not just me. But it is like when Peter and I sit down to watch a movie, he likes to like methodically talk out, we have these 5 options and let's look at the pros and cons of each. And I'm like, run down the list. No, the first one, no. Yes, the second one, no, I don't want to hear about the third one. I choose the second one, because otherwise, if I have to like actually decide, it's going to take us days to pick a movie. And it is because choosing something means I won't have the other thing. Like one job has good time off, but the location's not that great. And the other job has good location and good pay, but the hours are higher. I mean, of course, there seems to be a correlation between number of hours and higher pay. So it's not a straightforward calculation of like highest pay wins. And I don't, like I said, I picture this life in my head as I'm talking to the person. And I don't like not knowing. I don't like the uncertainty of which one will be true. And of course, none of them will be true because none of them will be actually what I picture. You have to live life in the present. I'm terrible at that. But again, I think that's not just me. There is some fear of making the wrong decision. But usually, I'm pretty good at making the best of all circumstances. So it's mostly the if I do this, I don't have that drives. I don't know, it's not even anxiety. Like I said, agitation and excitement are the same. It just feels fluttery, like my head is full of possibilities. It's taken me 40 years, but I finally figured out I can let them say no to me. I don't know, I think I have both a fear of success, fear of failure and of success. Because something that has stopped me, especially with the freelance writing in the past, has been, if they say yes, then I actually have to do that job. Which I did, I mean, sometimes that instinct is right. I had, in this topsy-turvy midlife crisis world, I was like, what if I go back and work for a newsroom and blah, 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 blah. But I hated working in news. I only ever was an editor because I wanted to be a writer. And I wasn't a writer because it was too scary not to have a stable paycheck, and nobody wants to pay you to write. Or some people do, but you have to find them, and that's hard. But Thus my new resolution, let them say no to me instead of me saying no without ever having asked them if I can I have this job? And it's a hard decision to leave Luzhou and to leave this job because there's nothing wrong with either of those things. We love Luzhou and we're so comfortable here, but also nothing wrong doesn't mean there couldn't be something better. And I think we're starting to have the confidence to match our ambition. And both Peter and I have realized our ambition needs to take us out of Luzhou. Those are always the saddest romantic breakups, when nothing's wrong, but really your time together is over. When I was graduating high school, the song Closing Time came out, so everybody chose that lyric as their yearbook quote. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, which is so trite, and I hope that song's in your head now. But it's also true. And then the next line is, I know who I want to take me home. So that's your philosophy. It's a strange experience because I've applied to everything from primary school through university, which would not be how a job search would work in America. But I could do all those jobs. I could do all those jobs. And each of the schools I've talked to so far has like wildly different presentations of their expectations. Like, there's definitely a school that was like, you seem like not a criminal and you might be able to do a good job. Can you start tomorrow? And another one is like, asked actual probing questions about my teaching methods. And, you know, I have to do a demo lesson. I don't know. What do I do with my hands? I'm filled with indecision. I mean, the decision is hard because it's not like they're two comparable jobs that's like, oh, well, this one has this and this one's clearly better. It is like, well, I could work with 30 12-year-olds, or I could work with PhD candidates. And I mean, how do you decide? It feels still like I could be a truck driver or a soup chef. But don't worry, Dad, I'm not gonna be a truck driver. I hate driving. Although again, in this like, anything's possible, like if we move to the job that's a suburb of the Chongqing city, do I get my driver's license and we could drive into the city? Which nobody wants to do that, if I'm honest. I don't want to drive anywhere. That I can say for sure. He looks like he's, in his mind, he's saying, I think I teach this kid, and he's refusing to put his shirt back on. One thing that has been common to all of the interviews so far is that I can tell they're subtly trying to feel me out for whether I like China. Like, I'm not gonna get there and be like, oh, this food is too spicy and no one speaks English and I don't understand the culture. And it helps that this is true, but I can tell them, no, I really like China and I plan on staying until they kick me out. But I can hear in these questions past experiences with foreigners who must have gotten there and been like, after 2 weeks, this is not for me. And to be fair, I am also asking them, so how long do your foreign teachers generally stay? How are the relationships between the Chinese staff and the foreign staff? I mean, that's what an interview is. They're feeling out if I could do the job, and I'm feeling out too if I can do the job. And it all is like, it's not an easy decision to leave what we've been calling our Chinese hometown for 10 years. I really love Blue Joe. But it might be time to leave.